Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chach Talk. Today I just kind of wanted to go through and test with a different strategy of video editing. And so I'm going to actually, show you what I see, and let's go through an article about who's going to be the new Green Bay head coach. So for NFL assistants, Josh McDaniels. I actually love him for the next HC of Green Bay. I mean, he's done so much with Tom Brady. I mean, he's making a guy who can barely move out of the pocket seem absolutely fantastic, making a 40-year-old quarterback look like he's 25 again. I mean, yeah, people are like, well, he's under Belichick's system. Like, all right, sure. What we've seen so far with, especially with, Sean McVay, is that a lot of offensive-minded guys are letting the DCs basically just do whatever they want, like Sean McVay and Wade Phillips. Wade's basically doesn't have to do anything in regards to Sean about what he wants to do on the defensive side. There's the HC isn't doing as much as he used to. He's just focusing more on a subset of what he's actually good at, which I actually enjoy. And then another knock on Josh McDaniels is that, well, what about what happened to him in Denver? First off, I'm so sorry that you have conflict with Jay Cutler. I mean, everyone else in the league really has. It's not like it's not like he's a really good guy to get along with. And so, he did fine with Kyle Orton. He went 8-8 about what the Bears did. Also, in regards to Jay Cutler, the guy had Matt Forte, Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey, and then Michael Bennett at their absolute peak, and he could only get them to a NFC Championship game to lose against Green Bay with their third-string quarterback in. I'm sorry Jay wasn't able to help or stay healthy enough, even though I think they were down 14-0 at the time, that he actually went out, or something like that. The game was almost lost at that point. If anything, third-string quarterback almost came back and won them the game. So, I'm absolutely a huge fan of Josh McDaniels for the head coach of Green Bay. Joe Filippo, I guess the former OC for the Minnesota Vikings, I guess is an old article. This is written in December 4th. I think he got fired a couple days ago. So, my general rule is don't hire a coach don't hire a head coach if he immediately was fired as the OC basically within the same calendar year. And you've seen what he does with you can make a good argument that Kirk Cousins is so much better of a quarterback than Case Keenum. It's insane. And they really haven't lost anyone. Dalvin Cook really hasn't been the same from the first game last year, but they didn't have Dalvin Cook either. They had McKinnon. McKinnon, I guess he's injured now, so you really can't make an argument that he's not very good and he didn't do anything for the Niners because he never really played a game for the Niners. But anyways, Pete Carmichael, the Saints OC. It's one of my issues. It's as a Tennessee Volunteers fan, my major issue with bringing in a DC from Alabama is that Nick Saban's already a defensive-minded guy, and what's the DC or what's the coordinator from the head coach's base set, what's he really going to do and what's he really bringing to the table? So, as we all know, proximity to greatness doesn't actually breed greatness. So, I'm interested to see what Carmichael does. If he does get a head coaching job, I just don't know if he'll get a head coaching opportunity until he moves away from Sean Payton's basically shadow. Vic Fangio, Bears DC. The issue is that, according to Pro Football Focus, the Bears' top 8 players are all on defense. You have people like Kyle Fuller, Khalil Mack, just on that side of the ball. You're automatically going to be fantastic. So I'm not entirely sure if I want to also bring in a defensive-minded guy for Aaron Rodgers. I'd much rather bring in, some young offensive-minded guy, kind of like Josh McDaniels. But who knows? Fresno State's HC, Jeff Tedford. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a hell no. I'm not I haven't watched a lot of Fresno State football. I love college football with my heart. Then you can make a great argument that college football is actually more enticing and more entertaining than the NFL. And even with all of that, I have yet to see a Fresno State game. So I can't really comment on it. But just based on that he's the Fresno State head coach, it's hard for me to go, you know what? Yeah, some guy who's not Power 5 college football, let's bring him into the NFL. I'm just not a big fan. Matt Campbell, the Iowa State head coach. Once again, it's one of those guys that I don't really watch a lot. Iowa State did beat Oklahoma last year, Baker Mayfield. So at least he can stop a future Heisman Trophy winner. Let's see here. He was Big 12 Coach of the Year. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with a resume, especially when it comes to Big 12, because Big 12's already under a microscope with how little defense is actually played and how heavy focus it is on the offense. I know the way he can design an offense is basically just give jump balls, which is big wideouts, and I don't know if Green Bay has the most stellar of large wideouts. I mean, Devontae's pretty big, but I mean, Randall Cobb's pretty small. I mean, EQ St. Brown, he's not the biggest guy. He needs to put some meat on his bones. Same with Marcus Valdez-Scantling. And the biggest guy they have is Jimmy Graham. And if you didn't know, he did play college basketball, so he can block their box out. I mean, I guess, sure, fine. Not really. I wouldn't be excited if Matt Campbell got the job. Lincoln Riley. Alright, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys. Lincoln Riley's not heading to the NFL. He's got too cushy of a job right now in Oklahoma. I mean, it's one of probably 10 best college football jobs. I mean, the only jobs I can really see that are better than that, at least name-wise, Alabama, Clemson, I guess you can say Georgia, maybe. I mean, they haven't won a championship since, 82? Texas, USC, maybe Ohio State, but Oklahoma's probably a bigger name right now than Ohio State, so I just don't see him coming up to the NFL. I don't see him leaving his Oklahoma job. In all honesty, he might even take a pay cut if he actually comes up to the NFL, which normally where you're supposed to go from collegiate to professional, pay is supposed to increase, but college coaches are already getting paid so much, I'm not entirely sure they can even entice him with cash. Jim Harbaugh. All right, another one of those things where I think that he's already said he's not even entertaining the fact of going to the NFL, especially with Urban Meyer retiring. I mean, that's his main opponent in the Big Ten. I mean, James Franklin can't seem to hold a lead against a good opponent. Paul Chryst is pretty trash over at Wisconsin. He can't develop a quarterback at all. I mean, Iowa's just they don't recruit at all. Ohio State, they have Ryan Day head coaching now, which I wonder why Greg Schiano isn't coaching there after the media just torched Tennessee fans, but I digress. I'm a little salty still. But it's just it's just hard for me to see Jim. I'll say this, if Urban stayed or another big-time head coach moves to the Big Ten, then I can see Jim moving. But as of right now, he's probably the best head coach in the Big Ten right now. And yes, I did a video on him saying that he was overrated and that was also based on how much he's paid. And he's definitely overrated for being the third highest paid head coach in college football. I think that goes without saying. Urban's beaten him, 4 straight times? Yeah, no, he definitely does not deserve to be paid more than Urban Meyer. So I don't think he's going to make a move to the pros, especially with Urban leaving. The Baylor head coach. Isn't Baylor kind of trash? Why would we want the Baylor head coach to come to Green Bay? I'm already going to go ahead and rule that out. John Harbaugh. Alright, this is where I think things get absolutely interesting. So, John Harbaugh was able to turn Joe Flacco in a contract year into an absolute superstar and borderline elite quarterback. And then, basically since then, it's kind of dealing with, gathering offensive weapons at wide receiver, especially running back, especially with the Ray Rice scenario. And they really haven't had a good running back since. Alex Collins has some good breakout games, but they really haven't had anyone there to be sturdy and carry the rock day in, day out. And then, the defense is looking good. They always have a solid defense, so I'll say this. If you give Aaron a defense that can hold an offense to the NFL average of 23 points, Aaron wins 12 to 13 games a year. I think it's pretty safe to say, even with limited offensive talent around him, which he kind of has. Randall Cobb is great when he's younger. Devontae Adams is an up-and-coming star. Yes, I'll give you that. Jordy was pretty old. Look what he is doing now in Oakland. He ain't doing shit. And he's got Derek Carr, who, a couple years ago was the the next up and coming Brady. So you can't really say that. Well, he doesn't have a good quarterback. Like, yeah, sure, he's got John Gruden. I mean, they just beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're not a bad team. But anyways, I digress. You give Aaron Rodgers a decent defense and a decent running game. Not saying 100 yards game. Like 85, 90 yards. Enough to where like people or defense have to be like, oh, maybe we can't just have 5 guys in the box and just cover everyone twice. And so I think John Harbaugh would have a great change of scenery moving to Green Bay from Baltimore, although I don't know if Baltimore's going to let him go. And yeah, that was it. So basically what I got from this was Josh McDaniels and John Harbaugh. Although I'm not really, especially with the playoff push that is going right now, I'll say that if John Harbaugh doesn't make the playoffs, he will be in serious contention for head coach of Green Bay. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Also, if you want to leave a comment predicting who's going to be the next Green Bay head coach, I'd love to read it and I'll address it in the next video. All right, thank you all so much. Y'all have a good